The Kemono's designs are simple, but very effective and memorable, even if their names aren't. I still can never remember Deathstalker's names and just call it Ice Wolf or Crack Kitty or Peacock. I'm really bad with names. Being simple isn't always a bad thing. In fact, I'd say a lot of Monster Hunter's monsters start to fall flat because there's just too much going on in their base design. So I wanted to take a second and rant about what I would like to see in some newer Kemono designs and how they could easily start to make this game have an amazing, memorable roster. Kemono are a combination of an element and an animal. That's not really hard to see, and definitely can make for some boring or incredibly creative designs. So if we start to expand the elemental list a bit more, we can get a glimpse of the exact potential this game can have. Starting off with one that is already used by a Kemono in the game, lightning. While this technically could be an offshoot of wind, I think dedicating a whole element to it separate from wind could add for some really striking designs. Imagine an ember plume that has managed to create such heat that it begins to produce lightning. If Avatar the Airbender has taught us anything, it's that lightning is just a stronger form of fire. Or a Deathstalker that, instead of dashing off ice walls, instead is able to accelerate so fast he leaves streaks of lightning on the ground that'll start to arc out in random directions. Hell, even Spine Glider could climb up on his pillar, get struck by lightning, and now be able to do some faster attacks or have lingering shock explosions. Another element, while technically already in the game, could be more Metal Kemono. While Grit Dog is cool, I'd personally like to see other Kemono with some magnetism or fun metallic effects. Lava Back, but instead of just getting spikes on his arms, being able to form weaponry on all of his body parts to increase the range of his attacks. Or Ragetail being able to full-on create a mace like some prehistoric beast, or Sporetail being able to make an actual shield. King Tusk could also be more interesting if he was able to form a full-on battering ram on his head, breaking up the ability to fully counter him with just a blockade, while also giving us more reason to use the shield wall. And since they already have some abstract elements like magnetism, poison, and I'd argue a bit of light with Amaterasu, why not have a dark creature? One that could mess with shadows or create clouds to obstruct vision and make it so the hunters are actually forced to play around the monster more. That one is a bit of a rough concept, and I'd agree it might not be fun to fight, but the possibilities start to get endless with the kind of ideas they've already implemented. And while more elements would add a lot to the game, I personally would rather not just fight every monster and have it be reduced down to, oh, it's Fume Beak but fire or Fume Beak but lightning. So adding new models and animals would also be key. With how diverse the ecosystems are, there's endless possibilities on what kind of animals they could add. One I'd personally like to see, purely because it's my favorite animal, is an actual bear. I love Earthbreaker's look, but he really does just look like a big cuddly bear. If they manage to make something, more ferocious with the sheer might and aggressiveness a bear would have, I really don't think I could bring myself to fight anything else. And since they already have smaller Kemono, who's to say these smaller Kemono couldn't, in a way, grow up and start to be able to control elements? I'd love to see the foxes start to take on a more kitsune form, and then become these massive trickster spirits that just decimate the land. Or a proud stag that peacefully wanders until threatened and uses its antlers to control its elements. Or even have some of the lizards take on a more massive crocodile or Komodo dragon form. And it doesn't even have to stop at animals. The amount of insects, crabs, and frogs they've already established in the world could also be experimented with, creating giant dragonflies or ladybugs, huge toad beasts, or everyone's favorite giant enemy crabs. The possibilities feel endless because they went with such a simple concept for the baseline of Kemono that they could actually take anything from nature, attach an element or combination of elements, and make a truly unforgettable beast. Not everything has to be an end-all be-all final fight, and most people are getting sick of the whole it's a big bad giant monster, have fun trying to hit it deal. So if I could literally just ask for anything to be added to this game, it's another final boss that is no bigger than, say, Golden Tempest. Personally, Amaterasu felt perfect for a boss fight, so please hear my one plea on this and give me a Sparky Bear. That's all I want. It's just one nice big bear that has some great electric abilities. And that's all I've got. I really do enjoy the looks of every Kemono, and while this might not have been the most interesting video, it's one I've wanted to make for a long time. The other day I made a post on my channel asking a question that I feel like I probably should ask here as well, and that is, what would you like to see? While I absolutely still love Wild Hearts and plan on continuing to make content for it, I can't help but to worry I'm going to start running out of ideas or topics to rant about. I still do have a few videos in mind, one of which will involve seeing if I can get in touch with some speedrunners, but the list is already starting to feel pretty thin for continuing an every other day upload. So I have two options. Do y'all want to see me make more scripted content of other games, staying more within the action RPG style, and just rant about what I want on those games? Or would y'all prefer I stick with Wild Hearts and start a little alternate character to basically play through the game a second time with more live commentary? They both would never be replacing Wild Hearts, they would just be filler while I continue to create hopefully better content and more in-depth researched videos that are to my liking. I'm still not too sure what I'm personally feeling, but those are at least the two ideas I've come up with. If you care, feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you haven't, subscribing really does help me out, as well as leaving a like. And, like always, I wish you luck in your next hunts. Take it easy.